My sister, listen to me. The world has told you a lie. It has whispered in your ear since the day you were born. Be nice, be quiet, be agreeable, don't cause trouble, don't stand out, just smile and go along with it. But I came to tell you today, enough is enough. You were not created to be weak. You were not placed here to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You were not designed to be a people pleaser, bending and breaking just to fit into someone else's mold. The time has come for you to rise up and walk in the power that has been placed inside of you. Stop apologizing for your strength. Stop dimming your light so others won't feel small. You are not here to blend in. You are here to stand out. The world will try to tame you, to make you soft and submissive to its ways. But you are a warrior. You are clothed in dignity and strength. You were made to speak with authority, to walk with boldness, to stand firm in truth. Nice girls stay silent when they should speak. Nice girls compromise when they should stand. Nice girls say yes when their spirit is screaming no. But you are not just a nice girl. You are a woman of purpose. Enough with seeking approval from those who do not honor your worth. Enough with letting fear hold you back from stepping into your destiny. Enough with shrinking into the background when you were born to lead. A real woman of power does not live to please people. She lives to fulfill her calling. She does not bow to fear. She walks in faith. She does not let the opinions of others define her. She knows who she is and whose she is. So I say to you today, step into your power, speak truth with boldness, stand tall, unshaken, unafraid, unbreakable. Let the world know you are no longer just the nice girl. You are a woman on a mission. Amen. The world has tried to deceive you. Since the moment you took your first breath, it has whispered lies into your ear, telling you who you should be, how you should act, and what role you must play. It has told you to be small, to be quiet, to be soft. It has conditioned you to believe that your strength is something to be hidden, that your power is something to be tamed, and that your voice is something to be silent. But deep inside, you know the truth. You were never meant to live in the shadows. You were never meant to bow to fear. You were never meant to be weak. The world has taught you that being a good woman means being agreeable, being accommodating, being endlessly forgiving, even when it costs you your peace. It has told you to say yes when you want to say no. It has told you to shrink yourself so that others feel comfortable. It has told you to dim your light so that no one feels outshined. And for too long you believed it. You believed that your worth was measured by how much you could endure, how much you could sacrifice, how much you could please those around you. But that was never the plan for your life. That was never your destiny. You were not created to be a doormat. You were not created to be stepped on, overlooked, or disregarded. You were not created to carry the weight of everyone else's expectations while your own dreams and desires are left to die. You were created for more. There is a fire inside you, a strength that refuses to be tamed. It has always been there, waiting for you to recognize it, waiting for you to step into the fullness of who you are meant to be. The world will try to make you feel guilty for being strong. It will tell you that a woman who speaks her mind is too loud. It will say that a woman who sets boundaries is too difficult. It will claim that a woman who refuses to settle is too demanding. But do not be deceived. Strength is not a flaw. Boldness is not a mistake. Confidence is not arrogance. The world has spent so much time trying to make you doubt yourself because it knows the truth. When you step into your power, you become unstoppable. Too many women have spent their lives waiting for permission to be who they were created to be. They wait for validation, they wait for approval, they wait for someone to tell them that they are good enough, strong enough, worthy enough. But that permission slip will never come. The world does not hand out freedom. You must take it. You must choose to stand up, to rise, to step forward even when fear tries to hold you back. You must choose to silence the lies that tell you that you are not capable. You must choose to reject the labels that others have placed on you and walk in the truth of who you really are. Strength does not mean you never feel afraid. Strength does not mean you never have moments of doubt. Strength does not mean you never fall. Strength means you get back up. Strength means you keep pushing forward even when the road is hard. Strength means you refuse to let your past define your future. It means you refuse to be trapped by the opinions of people who do not see your worth. It means you refuse to live in fear when you were created for faith. The world celebrates women who conform. It praises those who stay within the lines, who do not question, who do not challenge, who do not push back. But you were not called to conform. You were called to rise. You were called to stand out. You were called to step boldly into the life you were meant to live. And yes, that will make people uncomfortable. It will make some resent you. It will make others try to stop you. But do not let their fear become your limitation. Do not let their insecurities dictate your choices. Do not let their doubt hold you back from the greatness that has been placed inside of you. Your strength is not just for you. Your strength is meant to be a light for others. When you step into your power, you give others permission to do the same. When you walk boldly in your calling, you show others that they do not have to live in fear. When you refuse to shrink, you inspire others to stand tall. The world does not need more women who are afraid to be seen. It needs women who are willing to rise, to speak, to lead, to love fiercely without losing themselves in the process. There will be times when you feel alone. There will be moments when you wonder if it would be easier to just go back to being the nice girl, the one who never causes waves, the one who never asks for more, the one who never steps out of line. But easy is not always right. Comfort is not always purpose. Safety is not always destiny. The road of strength is not without its challenges, but it is the only road that leads to true fulfillment. The world will test you. It will try to break you. It will put obstacles in your path to see if you will turn back. But you must keep moving forward. You must refuse to surrender. You must refuse to give in to the voices that tell you that you are too much or not enough. You must believe, even when no one else does, that you were created for something greater than just surviving. This is your time. No more waiting, no more shrinking, no more apologizing for the power inside of you. The world does not get to define you. The opinions of others do not get to shape you. Fear does not get to control you. You were made for more, and the time to step into that truth is now. From the time you were young, the world has conditioned you to seek approval. It has told you that your worth is measured by how much people like you, by how well you fit in, by how easily you meet the expectations of others. You were taught to smile even when you didn't feel like it, to say yes when your heart was screaming no, to adjust yourself so that you would be accepted, approved, validated. And so you tried. You worked hard to make sure everyone was happy. You bent over backward to avoid conflict. You became the version of yourself that others wanted to see. But deep down, something still felt wrong. No matter how much you gave, no matter how much you compromised, no matter how much approval you received, it was never enough. Because the truth is, when you live for the approval of others, you will always be chasing something that cannot satisfy you. Approval is a moving target. One day they love you, the next day they criticize you. One moment they praise you, the next moment they tear you down. You can do everything right in the eyes of the world and still it will find something to judge, something to dislike, something to pick apart. So why are you still trying to prove yourself to people who will never be satisfied? Why are you still handing your peace, your joy, and your identity over to opinions that shift like the wind? You were never meant to live like this. You were never meant to measure your worth by how many people approve of you. You were never meant to let the voices of others determine your path. There is a deeper reason why the need for approval is so dangerous. It does not just affect your self-esteem. It controls your decisions. It shapes the way you live. It determines what you say, what you do, and how you see yourself. When you live for the approval of others, you stop making choices based on what is right and start making choices based on what is popular. You silence your voice because you are afraid of offending. You hold back your true self because you are afraid of rejection. You let fear dictate your steps instead of walking in boldness, and before you know it, you are living a life that does not even belong to you. You are trapped in an endless cycle of trying to please people who will never truly see you, never truly understand you, never truly value you. But you were not created to be a prisoner to opinions. You were not placed on this earth to gain the approval of men. You were created for a higher calling, a greater purpose, a destiny that is too powerful to be limited by what others think. The moment you realize this is the moment you are set free. The moment you stop looking for validation from people and start walking in the truth of who you are is the moment you step into real power. No more seeking permission to be yourself. No more waiting for applause. No more shrinking so that others feel comfortable. Some people will not understand you. Some people will talk about you. Some people will judge you, but let them. Their opinions do not define you. Their words do not hold power over you. Their approval is not necessary for you to fulfill your purpose. You were called to stand, not to blend in. You were called to be bold, not to live in fear. You were called to walk in truth, not to be swayed by the ever-changing opinions of the world. Think about how much time you have wasted worrying about what others think. Think about the dreams you have pushed aside because you were afraid of judgment. Think about the moments you have held back your voice because you feared what people might say. How much longer will you let their opinions control your life? How much longer will you keep seeking approval from those who do not even truly know you? How much longer will you stay in a place that is limiting you, all because you are afraid of stepping into the unknown? The need for approval is a trap. And the only way to break free is to decide that you are done living for other people. You have to decide that your peace is more important than their opinions. You have to decide that your purpose is greater than their validation. You have to decide that you would rather walk alone in truth than be surrounded by people who only love you when you fit their expectations. Not everyone will understand your journey. Not everyone will support your growth. Not everyone will celebrate when you step into your power, and that is okay. You are not for everyone. You were never meant to be. The right people will recognize your value. The right people will respect your boundaries. The right people will walk with you in truth. But the approval of people will never bring you the fulfillment that you are looking for. It will never be enough, because it was never meant to be the thing that completes you. You do not need their permission to be great. You do not need their applause to know that you are walking in the right direction. You do not need their validation to know that you are worthy. The only thing you need is the courage to step fully into who you were created to be. And that means letting go of the opinions that have been holding you back. That means breaking free from the need to be liked. That means choosing to be bold over being popular. Choosing to be strong over being pleasing. This is your time. No more waiting for approval. No more hesitating because of fear. No more giving your power away to people who do not determine your destiny. The world does not get to define you. You are free. Now walk in that freedom. The world has convinced women that being nice is the highest virtue they can possess. It has praised them for their ability to go along with what others want, to be agreeable, to sacrifice their own desires for the sake of keeping the peace. It has told them that saying yes when they really mean no is a sign of kindness. It has convinced them that to be good, to be loved, to be accepted, they must always be accommodating, always be understanding, always be willing to compromise. But that is not the truth. That is not strength. That is not the life you were meant to live. Nice girls compromise when they know they shouldn't. They allow themselves to be walked over because they are afraid of confrontation. They lower their standards because they don't want to seem difficult. They remain in situations that drain them because they don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. They silence themselves because they are afraid of being labeled as too much, too opinionated, too demanding. And so they shrink. They push their needs to the side. They swallow their feelings. They tell themselves that this is what it means to be a good woman. They convince themselves that if they just keep being nice, everything will eventually work out. But deep inside, they feel the weight of their own suppression. They feel the exhaustion of constantly giving, constantly bending, constantly adjusting themselves to fit the expectations of others. They feel the emptiness that comes from living a life that is not truly their own. There comes a point when you have to ask yourself, how much more of yourself are you willing to give away? How many more times will you silence your voice just to make someone else comfortable? How many more years will you spend putting everyone else's needs above your own? How much longer will you keep saying yes when your soul is screaming no? How long will you keep betraying yourself just to be liked, just to be accepted, just to avoid disappointing others? A strong woman stands. She does not bend to the pressure of others just to keep the peace. She does not lower her standards just because people tell her she is asking for too much. She does not stay in places where she is not valued just because she is afraid of what others might think. She knows that compromise is not always the answer. She understands that some things are worth fighting for, that some things are worth walking away from, that some things are non-negotiable. The world will tell you that standing firm is selfish. It will tell you that setting boundaries is mean. It will try to shame you for having expectations. It will try to guilt you into staying silent when you should be speaking up. But do not be deceived. The people who truly respect you will not ask you to diminish yourself for their comfort. The people who truly value you will not expect you to compromise who you are just to keep them happy. The people who truly support you will not make you feel guilty for having a voice, for having standards, for standing strong. Nice girls live in fear, fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of upsetting others, but fear is not a foundation for a fulfilling life. Fear will keep you in places you have outgrown. Fear will make you accept things that are beneath you. Fear will keep you tied to relationships, friendships, and situations that no longer serve you. Fear will keep you trapped in a life that does not align with who you truly are. But a strong woman is not led by fear. She is led by truth. She is led by wisdom. She is led by a deep knowing that she is worthy of more. She refuses to let fear dictate her decisions. She refuses to let guilt keep her in places she does not belong. She refuses to let the opinions of others determine her destiny. Strength is not about being rude. It is not about being arrogant. It is not about being unkind. Strength is about knowing who you are and refusing to let anyone make you feel like you have to be anything less. Strength is about standing in your truth even when it is uncomfortable. Strength is about walking away from what does not honor you. Strength is about choosing yourself, not because you do not care about others, but because you finally realize that your own well-being matters too. People will test you. They will see how much you are willing to give. They will see how far they can push you before you push back. They will take as much as you allow them to take. And if you are always compromising, always giving in, always prioritizing everyone else's happiness above your own, they will never stop taking. But the moment you decide that you will no longer settle, that you will no longer lower yourself just to make others comfortable, that you will no longer silence your voice just to keep the peace, that is the moment you take your power back. That is the moment you step into the fullness of who you were created to be. Not everyone will like it when you stand. Some people will call you difficult. Some will call you selfish. Some will try to make you feel guilty. But let them talk. Let them be uncomfortable. Let them misunderstand you. You do not owe anyone the version of yourself that makes their life easier. You do not exist to please people. You do not exist to fit into their expectations. You do not exist to make everyone happy at the expense of your own happiness. There will be moments when standing strong is not easy. There will be times when it would feel so much simpler to just give in, to go along with what others want, to choose the path of least resistance. But easy is not always right. Comfortable is not always where you are meant to be. Safety is not always where your growth happens. Growth happens when you step out in faith. Strength is built when you refuse to settle. Power is claimed when you make the decision to stop compromising and start standing. You are not here to be just another nice girl, afraid to ruffle feathers, afraid to take up space, afraid to demand more. You are here to be a force, to be bold, to be unshakable, to be everything you were created to be. The world does not need more women who are afraid of their own power. It needs women who are willing to stand, who are willing to lead, who are willing to step into the fullness of their calling without apology. This is your moment. This is your time. No more compromising, no more shrinking, no more playing small. The world will not hand you your power. You must claim it. You must stand even when it is difficult. You must stand even when it is lonely. You must stand even when the voices around you try to tell you to sit back down. Because the truth is, the moment you stand, you set others free to do the same. When you refuse to compromise, you give others permission to rise. When you walk boldly in your strength, you become a light that leads the way for others. So stand. Stand for your worth. Stand for your voice. Stand for the life you were meant to live. The time of being a nice girl is over. The time of being a strong woman has begun. There comes a moment in your life when you must decide who you are going to be. You must decide whether you will continue to live small, continue to let fear hold you back, continue to listen to the voices that tell you that you are not enough, or whether you will step fully into the power and purpose that has always been inside of you. You were never meant to live an ordinary life. You were never meant to simply exist, to go through the motions, to settle for less than what you were created for. There is something greater inside of you, something stronger, something powerful, something waiting to be awakened. But no one can step into it for you. No one can force you to rise. No one can make you walk in your purpose. That is a decision that only you can make. For too long you have allowed doubt to speak louder than truth. You have let your past dictate your future. You have let fear keep you from taking the steps you know you need to take. You have looked at others who are walking in their calling, living in their strength, embracing their destiny, and you have convinced yourself that they have something you don't. But the truth is, the same power that is in them is in you. The same strength, the same courage, the same fire. It has been in you all along. The only difference is that they made the choice to step into it. They made the choice to stop running, to stop questioning, to stop doubting, and to start walking boldly into the life they were meant to live. It is not that they were not afraid. It is not that they never had moments of uncertainty. It is not that they never felt unqualified. It is that they refused to let fear stop them. They refused to let doubt be louder than their purpose. They refused to keep waiting for the perfect moment and instead chose to take action even when they didn't feel ready. And that is what you must do. You must make the decision that you will no longer allow fear to control you. You must decide that you will no longer let excuses keep you stuck. You must be willing to move forward even when you are uncertain, even when you don't have all the answers, even when the path is not completely clear. Your purpose is not something that will come to you while you sit back and wait. It is something that you must pursue. It is something that requires action, commitment, and courage. It requires you to step out of your comfort zone, to take risks, to be willing to fail, to be willing to face opposition. Because the truth is, the moment you step into your power, not everyone will support you. Not everyone will understand you. Some will question you. Some will doubt you. Some will try to pull you back into the place you used to be. But you cannot afford to let their opinions shape your destiny. You cannot allow their fears to become your own. You cannot allow their doubts to stop you from moving forward. You have spent too much time waiting for permission to be who you were created to be. You have waited for others to validate you, to approve of you, to tell you that you are ready. But the truth is, you do not need their validation. You do not need their approval. You do not need their permission. The only thing you need is the willingness to step out in faith, to believe in the power that has been placed inside of you, to trust that you were created for more. Stepping into your purpose is not just about you. It is about the people who need you to rise. It is about the lives you are meant to impact. It is about the change you are meant to bring. It is about the doors you are meant to open, not just for yourself, but for others who will come after you. Because when you step into your power, you give others permission to do the same. When you choose to live boldly, you inspire others to stop playing small. When you refuse to be held back by fear, you become a light in the darkness for those who are still trapped by their own insecurities. But none of this can happen if you do not make the decision to step forward. You can have all the potential in the world, but if you do not take action, if you do not move, if you do not step out in faith, that potential will never be realized. You can have all the gifts, all the talents, all the abilities, but if you let fear keep you paralyzed, you will never see the fullness of what is possible for you. You can have all the dreams, all the visions, all the ideas, but if you do not start, if you do not push past your doubts, if you do not refuse to give up, those dreams will never become reality. There is greatness inside of you, but it will not manifest itself if you are not willing to put in the work. It will not come alive if you continue to let fear have the final say. It will not become real if you keep waiting for the right time, the right opportunity, the right circumstances. The right time is now. The right opportunity is the one you create. The right circumstances are the ones you build through faith, through action, through persistence. No one said it would be easy. No one said there wouldn't be obstacles. No one said you wouldn't face opposition. But nothing worth having comes without a fight. Nothing great is built without struggle. Nothing powerful is birthed without pain. If you are going to step into your purpose, you must be willing to endure. You must be willing to keep going when it gets hard. You must be willing to push forward when everything in you wants to turn back. You must be willing to believe in yourself, even when others do not. You must be willing to trust the process, to embrace the journey, to keep walking even when you cannot see the full picture. Too many people give up too soon. They start strong, but when they face resistance, they retreat. They step out in faith, but the moment they encounter difficulty, they run back to what is safe, to what is comfortable, to what is familiar. But you cannot afford to be one of them. You cannot afford to let challenges stop you. You cannot afford to quit before you see the promise fulfilled. The strength you need is already inside of you. The power you need has already been given to you. The courage you need is already within you. You just have to tap into it. You just have to believe that you were made for this. You just have to decide that you will no longer live in fear, no longer live in doubt, no longer live beneath your calling. This is your moment. This is your time. You cannot keep waiting. You cannot keep hesitating. You cannot keep letting excuses rob you of the life you were meant to live. Everything you need is already within you. The only thing left to do is step forward. The only thing left to do is trust. The only thing left to do is take the leap. The time for fear is over. The time for doubt is over. The time for playing small is over. Now is the time to step fully, boldly, and without apology into the power and purpose that has always been yours.